Everybody, we back with another episode of Going Live with the MC. It's me, MC Reef, and today we have another special guest. Y'all gotta get used to hearing me say that, cause everybody's special on this platform. You feel me? Like we don't do nothing mediocre. Everybody that come on here got something to share with the world, something that's gonna be appreciated with the world. You feel me? So, um, let's see. How do I introduce this guy? If y'all smoke weed, this is the episode, alright? Like, 'cause this is some stuff y'all need to know in here. My guy, he's a grower, so he grows his plants, right? He also sells plants, stuff like that. We could talk about it here. This is a business. Um, it's licensed, so he definitely out there getting that corporate money bread. Um, so today's guest features Castle De Los Santos. He is a mobile dispensary, which means he's on the go. He only does organic flowering. So there is nothing, no spray, no chemicals, none of that. Like everything is just organic. And I think upon meeting this dude, I never really knew too much about the flower. Like I just kind of like knew what I liked. I knew what wasn't good, what was good. I knew how to find, good people with the quality, things of that nature. So when I stumbled across this dude, everything about him from the energy to like the intellect of, his brand and products, everything was just on point. So I really enjoyed working with this dude. So without further ado, I'm gonna invite my guy Roosevelt of Castle De Los Santos into the mix. Any of you guys have any questions, please feel free to hit the question mark in the bottom right section of your screen or on the top. I don't know where it's at if you got an iPhone, but on Android it's at the bottom for me. So tap in.
There
What's
we
up, my
go.
brother?
What's going on, homie?
Everything is good, man.
Oh yeah, good morning, good afternoon, bang bang and all that good stuff.
Haha, good afternoon, man. Trying to see, I can't really see you. I only see myself.
And I only see myself, I don't see you. Remember?
Yeah, it's all good. The people see us. The people see us how it's meant to be. Um, what's up, man? How you feeling today?
I'm good. I'm good. Can't
That's what's up.
complain.
What's up?
We
That's what's
here, I'm
up.
honored, I'm blessed. Thank you for inviting me to come
No
join you.
doubt, man. So this platform is to, give flowers, ironically, to the people that deserve them, to the people that don't necessarily get them on a day-to-day basis. Um, you know, for a lot of people, we are hometown heroes. We're like very much under the radar, but we serve our community well, and you're one of those people, you feel me? So I felt like having you on this platform was definitely necessary.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Likewise as well.
No doubt. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Um, so I was just telling the people, there's nothing to hide here. This is I know Instagram be censoring us and stuff like that, but we do what we do. This is our business, and yeah. So we loud and proud with it. We spreading the word to the community. That's what Instagram gave us, a platform, and we're gonna use it. So with that being said, would you like to tell people a little bit about what you do?
So first and foremost, I tell everyone my first job, aside from keeping myself healthy, is being a father. So I'm going to start there. Usually, if anyone that has seen me outside of an adult cannabis event will know that my son has been with me, and he's my VP. That's what I do first and foremost.
Yep.
Shout out to Patches and Pins, Got Soul, Get Money Kicks. These are all family oriented, either apparel or creatives that come together, and they also allow me to come and teach about the female cannabis plant mainly because that's what we're doing. We're just teaching. All I'm doing is a grown and sexy approach. I want to teach the people that come across me what I've learned, what I'm learning, and what I hope to learn from the female cannabis plant. So that's my first one, man. And that's number two. I roll right into it. I cultivate. I call myself a foster parent girl dad, right?
Right.
And the reason why I say it is because I only deal with the female cannabis plant. And as a
Okay.
foster parent, we receive something, right? I don't pop seeds, so I get clones. We receive and we have children and we try to teach them and love them and nourish them to be better for themselves and or for another family, kind of like the foster care unit
Right.
that we have here in New York.
Right. That's dope. That's dope, man. Thank you for that. So I could definitely vouch for one thing. I have seen you in settings with your family. I've been blessed to see you in that capacity.
Thank you.
I'm a big believer on, everybody don't need to see everything. So the people that do get to see it should feel honored. Um, yeah, so when I get to see certain people in their element actually living their life, it makes so much more sense to their character. So getting to see you in public with your family and just being the same person you was when I met you the first day, I just thought that was real beautiful. Um, so what is the importance of remaining true to yourself?
So that's a good one. Remaining true to yourself, seeking the important, it's super important, first and foremost. It's very important remaining true to yourself. But for me, remaining true to yourself is seeking knowledge of self constantly. So
Right.
if you're saying true to yourself, you're being honest with yourself. You're seeking to learn. You're seeking to evolve. You're seeking to grow. You're seeking to be embarrassed and have humbleness and humility. Uh,
That's a fact.
you know, so that all ties in with me, myself. And I wasn't always like that. I always tell people, and I tell my son all the time, that I compare myself to Gru. Gru from Despicable Me.
Right.
Excuse me one moment. Amsterdam, speak you on the phone. So I tell him there's a villain that fell in love with children and decided to change his life and become more righteous and better in the world.
Right.
I lost a little track there. Where were we? It's my apologies.
You were describing the importance of remaining true to yourself.
So to be the importance of being true to yourself, like I said, being honest to yourself, seeking knowledge of self, always first and foremost.
Mm-hmm.
After acquiring that is not trying to hurt people. Staying true to yourself is just being true to yourself. If you're happy, your happiness. If you're sad, you own it as well. Is just owning it and not allowing, in a negative sense, for those around you to be affected. Although they will.
Right. That is true, 100%. So yes, I'm a big believer in stuff like that because, I think ever since I was younger, I've always kind of like had this feeling that you're supposed to figure out how to be a person. Like you got to figure out how to be human. Like a lot of us don't understand that takes time. Like a lot of us don't understand that we're supposed to make certain mistakes, but we're not supposed to live in that mistake. We have
Correct.
to grow from that. Um, and I think that translates into, let's just say, moving further. If you want to be a parent, if you want to, own a pet or, anything, if you want to be a leader of some sort, you have to know what it is to be true to yourself because then it's the blind leading the blind. Um,
What does
at
you
what age
mean
did
of
you,
staying true?
huh?
Did you have another question? I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, yeah. What was you finished?
I, I wanted to know what your perspective on being true.
Being true to myself means not letting anyone discourage me from things that I feel like could inspire me. Like if I see an opportunity, I should check out that opportunity. I shouldn't not check out the opportunity because someone else had a bad experience. Now, granted, if that bad experience was something, eye opening and like awareness raising, then yeah, 100%. I'll watch out for that at all costs. But for the most part, a lot of people, they try to deter you because, you know, when they see that you have the willingness to be open to like a journey, they want to stand in the way. You know, so
You
it's
say,
like they don't
you
want
could
you
say
to
vulnerable.
grow. They don't want you to evolve and explore yourself. So um I stay away from people just like that, you know, and I feel like by aligning myself with other people who are, you know, being themselves, being true to themselves, which is a genuine thing by the way, which you can see and feel, you know, I learned from these people. You know, I learned from just being around other people who are true to themselves to just keep remaining in your faith. And also, I learned a very long time ago integrity. You know, so it's all about what you do when no one's looking. So for me, that's a big thing. You know, I like we're not around everyone 24/7, and we would like to know that the people in our lives are really actually caring for us and loving us, and so without us always looking and seeking that reassurance. You feel me? So yeah, that's what it is for me.
No, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing.
No doubt, appreciate that. So my question to you is, at what age did you start smoking, and what was life like for you in that time?
Unfortunately, I started smoking cigarettes first.
Oh man.
My parents did not smoke. My mother nor my father, they did not smoke. They weren't consumers. Um, and I want to say, I tell this story all the time. I remember her name was Crystal. I was dating this girl, Crystal. I was fucking in grade school. And she used to smoke cigarettes.
Hmm.
So obviously, I was like, oh, let me try it. Let me take a drag. And I loved smoking from that point on. To the point
So
where
it don't matter if it's a cigarette or weed.
at this day and age, female cannabis only, please. Papers, hemp only. Not even about being organic or natural. It's just that's all I want to ingest. Actually, I shouldn't even be smoking as much combustible material and flower that I do consume, but only this day and age. Back then, anything. Dog, I smoked cigarettes, Newport, menthols, Marlboro Reds, try to stop, did the Marlboro Golds, disgusting. Yeah, back then, Dutch Masters didn't even take off the glue stick, you know. White Owls and Phillies, we just
You was
crack,
living
crack, crack.
savage.
On my lungs, yes. That's what I love about cannabis being legal now, by the way. I'm sorry to veer, but that's what I love about cannabis being legal now because
All right.
it opens up the pathway of being educated in consuming, in actually having, and whether you want to smoke it or not, you know, a lot of people have stolen. I like that. A lot of people don't realize that as you get older, your body changes, your organs change, allergies occur, and that's what I love about the difference. But before, smoke weed every day,
That's a
like
fact.
like
Nah,
Nick Dogg said.
I feel that. Um, so was it easy to find weed at that time in life, or like you had to like go out your way? Like it was only like one specific person or one area you can go to get it. I want to understand the history of this, you know, because this is pretty interesting.
It is, it is. Hmm. So young, it was when it was around, when it was able to be gotten. I'm going to clearly say Bushwick and Cornelia, the Menahan cats, Menahan between Cyprus and St. Nicholas, uptown. If you knew, so you went to certain people. I'm from Bushwick, Ridgewood, original area.
Okay.
So when it came to purchasing, you either knew someone at the party, and I wasn't, I swear to you, it was when I got older that it was at buying eighths and buying a half or buying an ounce, or when started selling weed, which was like, okay, I'm going to buy a whole ounce, break this down, smoke for free.
Mm.
And that happened in high school. Definitely happened in high school.
That's dope. That's dope. I actually started in high school as well too. It's crazy because my mom and dad, my stepdad, they didn't consume either. Well, my mom, it was rumored that she did it when, before we were born, but we have no idea of that. There's no proof. And she never, again, like she never like shown any withdrawal signs or anything like that. It was almost as if like once she stopped, which I guess was a good thing for the sake of the kids. But yeah, so we had no outside influence. There was nobody like really around us like smoking weed or anything like that. Um, I think just once I got into high school, I just unlocked a whole new world. Started hanging around different people. Yeah, so but I was always a man of myself, again, staying true to myself. So no one can convince me to say, it wasn't like I was just hanging around people that were like, yo, here, smoke this. And I'm like, okay. Like for me, it was just like, I was hanging out with some friends. They were smoking the first time and I just let it go. But I didn't even know what weed was at the time. They were smoking. I was like, all right, whatever. Y'all do what y'all do. Then I was around another set of friends and I didn't realize that they were rolling up. I was so into the TV. We were watching, it was like a Friends marathon. So we were all watching Friends at the time. And we all just
Uh,
chilling, Yeah, I'm in the TV. I'm like, yo, this episode is good or whatever. Like, we laughing, chopping it up. Next thing you know, I smelled the smell in the air, but they was also cooking at the same time. So, like it kind of blended in nicely. It smelled almost like seasoning. So I was like, all right, whatever. And then homie taps me. He tapped me. He just gives it to me. And without thinking, I didn't ask him what it was. I just started smoking.
okay.
Um, and from that point on, just like how you said, I loved it. It was a great thing for me. My mom always told me, as far as like cigarettes and stuff like that, you don't want to do that. But again, never spoke on weed. And the day she found out that I was smoking weed, she wasn't even mad at me, surprisingly. Like my mom used to be
Okay.
mad at me for everything, for like so. But smoking weed,
Not for not being upset at the lady cannabis. Yeah.
nah, that's dope. That's dope. So it was cool. That's a great beginning point. We don't really.
And she
A
did,
lot of people don't have that same
and she
experience.
allowed you, and
Huh?
she was cool with you. She was cool with you
Hundred
smoking going
percent.
forward.
100% cool. But this is the thing though. This is what scared me about my mom. Like I said, she was always mad at me for something. I was always getting beatings for something. My mom wasn't like super abusive, but if we did something, she was getting us. So, to hear her say that it was okay, and she would prefer to me to do it inside, indoors, and not be outside on the street. Because at the time it was obviously still illegal, and at the time they was doing stop and frisk, stuff like that. So, yeah, she was just like, I would just prefer you to be safe about it, And I was scared to the point where I didn't smoke no weed around her. Like I barely smoked weed at that point, But it was like as I got older, I just kind of like just said, okay, if you said it was okay, I'm gonna just open up a little bit more, But I didn't like start smoking in the house or like even in front of my mom until I was like in my late 20s, you know.
All right.
Yeah, it was just a respect thing, Like I just couldn't do it, Even though she said it was okay, I just didn't feel right. So I was like, you know what? Whenever I'm out with my friends or whatever, that's when I'll do it.
I hear
All
you.
right. Next question. How did you how did you get into like growing? Like what was your last straw before you said, you know what, I'm about to just start growing?
So I actually got into extraction first.
Okay.
Extract, right? Because during I'm a winter dry air asthmatic. So when it's cold and the air is dry, I cannot smoke. And you couldn't get edibles. It wasn't a fucking thing where, at the time, it wasn't a thing where you were able to get an edible, or if you were able to get an edible, it was from someone that made an edible that was gonna get you fucked up. So you had to like pick at it and nibble on that shit. Who the fuck? I'm a fat boy for life. I don't have control with sweets. So it wasn't so it became to a point my respiratory was horrible. I know my family tells me it shouldn't be smoked, but my respiratory was bad. I'm getting there. This is how I got into growing, right?
All right.
And it became extracting. Then I looked into extracting. Extracting, I'm not going to give a class on that, but I decided to go with the two best rookie ways was either saturating it for a long time or lo and behold, behold came BHO in a glass tube that looked like a fucking dildo. You just blasted some BHO through it, put a 50 micron or another micron filter on the end, fuck those two coffee filters and shit. And lo and behold, man, that was the origin of like real extracting shit. Because I knew I needed to extract. Then I started doing research in YouTube at that point. And then taking the risk because again, you scared that everyone's always watching. But then, like I said, it was fucking illegal. Again, stop and frisk. You mentioned that. I wanted to make a mental note of that. Hey, come on, man. Homies getting locked up, going away, getting probation. Their probation violated over a joint. Like, what the fuck?
Right.
So, it's like Wu-Tang said, could it be that it was all so simple then? But it's not. It wasn't. It was hard when it came to that. So I was still selling, I was still buying, I was still smoking.
Mm-hmm.
I always sold. Once I started selling cannabis, obviously I sold many other things when I was younger. Then I realized what the fuck that does, and it's so horrible. Then in my path for righteousness, I then stopped all that shit, along with many charges and felonies and lawyers and wasted time away from family. But then I chose the plant, right? So I always sold something, or I always worked legal. My credit from my father, he was definitely a salesperson. Then I started extracting what I was selling. And that's when I realized this shit is garbage. Duh. Because when you go to extract something, you see you see it. You're extracting, you're separating these compounds from these. You want only THC, you're going through a certain filter, and then you see the shit that gets through. And then it became like my connecting shit. You're selling my connect just ain't shit. Feel free to jump on in. I'm one person. I don't mind being interrupted, by the way.
No.
And then
So we're sharing gems here, so I'm listening to your story. The world's gonna be listening to your story, you feel me? So keep going. You good.
and then I can't see your face, so you know how I do.
Yeah.
I'm like, so I started realizing this weed ain't shit. Then it was like, oh, let me pay. And I'm talking about paying $900 for a fucking QP. You understand what I'm saying? Like, this is when a pound of weed was still $3,000. So I'm paying $900, which ain't bad, honestly, because then it wasn't bad, but it was crap. Then I said, yo, let me see what this 1,000, 1,200. Then it became that's to answer your original question. Then it was just like, man, I need to learn to fucking grow this shit. But I don't have patience for the seed popping shit. I still don't. And I'm not knocking it. It's not that I don't knock it. I don't have the patience for it. Knowledge of self. Know your role. As a matter of fact, at this moment right now, I have working on a collaboration with Mopang, and she's popping some seeds, and we're doing something together, waiting on that. Because you have to know who does something better than you. It's just, I'm a one-man bandstand. Don't get me wrong. I'll make it happen. But if I want to elevate, evolve, you need a team. You need resources. You need to tap in. I just agreed to that. And then I became the search of getting cleaner cannabis. And not only getting cleaner cannabis, because now I'm buying $900 QPs just to try, just to fuck around. Remember, I'm not selling this. So I have to buy a half because I have to break down a QP to try it in different forms. And then I've always been blessed. My boys called me Bud and Bougie, that I didn't have to buy the Bud and I didn't have to buy a QP of the same shit. They allowed me to look and be like, oh, all right, bang. I was like, all right, yo, I'll take one, and they still gave me the hookup prices. I'm telling you. First of all, you want to thank your connect, the most important person, with all due respect.
I hear that.
So I was telling him at the time, I'm extracting, man. I'm like, I'm not selling this. I'm buying this to break down, but show me the more expensive shit. And I was like, oh, I'm trying. And then I started learning how to look at the bud when I smoked it, and then I extracted it and be like, mmm,
Okay,
got it.
so I'm into extractions now.
Mm.
That's how I started everything. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I started off selling, but you know,
Smoke for free.
huh?
You, we usually start to sell to smoke for free.
Yeah, yeah, sometimes, but not necessarily. I mean, so basically, I always bought my own. Like, I never like went through like the whole plug situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, I always bought my own weed, and people knew that I had weed, so I would just sell them out of whatever I had. So then it became a thing to where now I'm copping an O a day or two O's, and then I'm just distributing, So I created my own thing from there, and then during the lockdown, like my friend, like at the time, he always teased me for like smoking, he called me a crackhead and stuff like that, but he always said,
Amazing.
he always said if you smoke, I mean if you sold as much as you smoke, you might make a lot of money, so. It just stuck on the back of my head. So during the lockdown or whatever, when I couldn't find a job and stuff like that, I was already on the beach, like selling waters, sodas, beers. I had the little nips of alcohol that I was selling. So I was already
Hustle.
doing that. But then during the lockdown, people were on the beach, and I didn't know that at the time. So they were hitting me up like, "Hey, you coming out this summer?" Or "Hey, what's going on?" And I'm like, no." Like, so then people like it just every day people kept hitting me up. So I was like, "All right, bet." So I did some research. I don't know what made me do this, but I learned how to do tinctures. So I started making tinctures, and then that's how I started making the lemonades, the weed infused lemonade. I call it
Ooh,
lemon days.
love it.
Actually, here's the logo right here. Let me see.
I can't see it, Captain.
Oh
I can't.
shit! I forgot. I
I
forgot.
see
I
it.
forgot. I forgot. God damn it! But my bad. My
Don't
bad. My
worry.
bad.
Now you got me with the FOMO. I'm like, get me another device so I can log in and watch them.
Hold on, I'm trying to flip my camera back. There we go. All right. So yeah, I started off doing the lemonades and stuff like that, and then I worked my way up into the edibles. And the drinks are still very popular to this day. A lot of people don't do that at all. So my question to you was, how can you tell the difference between a clean and a dirty extraction?
On the purge, the color, the purge of whatever medium you're using. I'm not gonna get too crazy about it. I don't fucking judge whether you're using ethanol, whether you BHO, the purge. On the purge of your extract, that's where that's where you see it, I feel.
Would that be
That's
like
where you
the
see it.
would that be like the little brown at the bottom, the little leftovers at the bottom, or like would it be like the color of the green, or like is there anything specific to look out for?
Yes and yes. So and I'll elaborate more on it. So I call it the booger, right? The booger to me is the final extract. And whatever booger you work with, this is just the way I call it, right? Your booger is different. In other words, are you doing booger where you have chlorophyll in it and your microns are higher and you want a more of a medicinal CBD or full spectrum, if you would? That's the full spectrum is fly. I love me a full spectrum, to be honest with you. Full spectrum tincture, when you have some nice good ratio of THC to greenage and more THC, oof, that is, I can't control it though. Like that's an edible and a high that I'm like, this feels nice. If this is what, you know, it's supposed to
Right.
do euphoric. Uh, if you're going for a booger, that's clean. So you want your booger to just be yellow, right?
Mhm.
If you're going for no toxins, very low microns. So you have to identify your booger. And when your booger for your extraction, and you know already by seeing different materials, you'll see how it purges out, however you purge out, whether it's you're using heat, whether you're using vacuum. Uh, Again, I'm not saying this shit like I know every single one of them. I'm just like what I know, you know.
Okay.
Uh, you'll see it there.
I never heard of the vacuum technique.
So the vacuum technique is takes out more, takes out not impurities, but more of your washing solvent, if you would. So
Okay.
let's say you use ethanol, and some people use the heating process. You heat it, keep it below certain temps and everything. I'm not giving numbers because then people get fucking crazy. Oh, that motherfucker said this. No, I'm not. You not you, but the viewer, for what you're searching for, then you need to do that education as well. And it's not being fucked up. It's just like we can't get into the full details. You dig?
Right.
So whatever temps you're at, and you purge, however it is, with heat or with or oh, the vacuum or in a vacuum, commercial way. You've seen this shit. You see when people put it in the trays
Right.
and they close it, looks like a refrigerator.
Yeah.
That system is a vacuum, a burper, and also heating and or cooling, depending on what you're using it for, your booger or extract. So the vacuuming just takes out more. If you're doing a sugar, it's going to make your sugar more granulated.
Right.
If you're
Okay.
doing, you follow it, so you get it, right? So the vacuum just takes out the medium, the solvent, a lot easier.
Okay. 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 So, I did this a little getaway, but I can actually see you now.
Oh, you logged on to another device?
Uh, yeah, my cousin, he's actually watching the live as well next to me. So I'm like using the phone and I can see you.
Tell me,
So
tell me why I fucking forgot my password on this shit. That's the
listen,
only
man, we
reason
gotta
I
make it work
can't.
how we make it work.
Oh,
Um,
fuck you.
so I could see you actually got some plants behind you. That's fire. So this makes this
Oh,
even better. So
yes. Ladies, how you doing?
what up,
That
ladies?
nigga's crazy, girl. Don't say nothing to him. They know. They know.
But yeah, so what's that? What's this you have behind you? Talk to me about that.
First and foremost, I took one of my gummies, and I'm not promoting my product, but I took one of my gummies before this. This is the chill face. Giggly as fuck, silly as fuck. Um, I don't believe we need to be hard all the time. You understand? We're hard when we have to protect our families and protect ourselves. Aside from that, it's vulnerable, man. Vulnerable. So this right here, this female cannabis plant in vegetation. Vegetation. This is fully for educational purposes. There's no THC on this. There is no. You cannot smoke from this. This is all green. This is all legal. My two plants that I'm permitted to grow and again keep in vegetative state. And
Yes.
I will be using these for the not the full spectrum, but for the CBD purposes that you get in this state. When I say in this state, and when they're put into bloom, when they're put into flower, they'll go through a transformation where they know it's time to mature from these young, beautiful, busting ladies into matured ladies with fruits. And then the fruit, you want it to mature as well and sweeten up. Um, so that's what it is. And then I'll also show that these are mothers, right? Foster, right? So the reason being, let's do a quick little class, yeah? You do it, little something, really quickly. Where is she? Too much. So what you do is, right? You see this one right here? You can take a clone from it. Message! I just heard a ring. I'm sorry. And every time I hear that, I think of Keenan Ivory. Message! Every fucking time. Ask anyone who knows me. That's what, if you ever hear me say message, that's it. Keenan. Shout out. Um, I would take a baby. I would take a clone from here, right? Again, vegetative. This is just for no bud, knows anything, and this is to have another one to keep this genetic, to keep this beautiful looking female, just like we reproduce and everything else. So yeah, that's what this is. That's what you asked. Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. That's dope. That's dope. Thanks for the breakdown.
And then I
Um,
grab these fan leaves, right? Bust them down, right? I do this really quickly. This is a beautiful tea. A tea as well that my mother. See, so I'm Caribbean. So like I heard I picked up on that before. You were a crackhead if you smoked weed, but you could do lines of coke and be an alcoholic. It was cool, you know. Tú tienes un problemita. But
exactly.
si tú fumas
Exactly.
marihuana, ¿qué? Es un títere, es un rastrero, right? So,
It don't make sense.
so and so now again, beautiful the legalization of cannabis. This is discussed. Like so, my mom was never really cool about that. Very similar to like that first generation myself. I got a lot of lessons, which now in therapy are abuse, and we had to learn to deal with that through that and not be those kind of parents, but filter the good things that we got from our dope ass parents. But that's another session right here.
Right.
Fan leaves, right? These are from the fan leaves. All green veg. Man, you throw this shit into boiling water, let it boil, boil, boil. I'm not gonna get fucking technical. Anyone that wants to jump in there and be like, oh, but what's he talking about? You're not, you put this in there, just like any tea, this is green. You're going to get a nice anti-inflammatory, clean for the lungs. This is why you keep it in the veg safe. And there's nothing illegal of it whatsoever. At this point, but back then you couldn't even have a plant like that.
Right.
Ooh, rolling into a dope ass story, if I may. The
Go
first
for
time
it.
I ever saw a cannabis plant in person, right? Because when you do something, people think, oh, that mother lover's been doing that for years. I seen him in this place. He was explaining it. I seen him one time. He brought fly. You know, because I try to bring them out in different stages so people could touch them and be like, get the fuck out of here, right? First time I was living on Woodward and Troutman, right? And
Mm-hmm.
My man Moses, OG Moses. Moses is like 15, 10 years plus my senior, right? Yes, man. Yeah, you good. You've been 20. Thank you for asking. Uh, he had a vegetative plant on the roof, and that shit, and Moses' voice, I swear, Moses is, he's old school. Yo, Jay, yo, my nigga, look at this plant. He was just, I still deal with Moses till this day. To this day, we're still friends. To this day, he buys from me. I saw my first time vegetative plant, and it was in this stage, and I had no clue what it was until years later that then I got the connection. But this is great right here. This green,
Mm-hmm.
I went off. I'm nice. I'm surprised my lady's not texting me like, you're talking a lot. She doesn't
Well, we
yell
got
at me.
about 20 minutes left in the interview, so I'm not gonna hold you too long.
No doubt. Not that in a
So
bad way. It's just like I rant. I go,
nah, you good, you good. This is like I said, this is for the story, this is for the platform, you know what I'm saying? This is gonna go down in history, people, like I said, when they tune into this episode, they're gonna know a lot more, so based on whatever you're willing to share. So my next question is, again, going into it, you don't like when you go to your events, you don't always have your whole family with you, but you do have your wife and you do have your dog sometimes. Um,
hell yeah.
so how does it work for you being a family business? Is like, was everybody initially on board, or did you like have to like, this is my vision, you guys gotta believe in it, like, or how did that work out for you? Like, how does this
So
translate?
my son was born into it. By the time he was born, um, he'd already seen plants and, you know, been to facilities, you know, legal facilities, and been with me visiting other places where at this stage it was cool. So this is natural to him. What was amazing that my sister, my older sister, used to ask me, how did you teach Amsterdam to not discuss what you do in school and like with other kids? But let me, very way, it's my way of parenting, because again, she knows I don't hide anything. I don't believe in being a hypocrite. If I'm growing, he's growing. I'm growing with him. I tell him he's already better than me because he's twice as good as I am. Because I didn't move like he did at his age. I didn't think like he thought at his age. And my father was dope. You know, like, I'm just trying to be half of what he was to me as well. But he just processes it, and I give him his props. And I'm always reminded that I told him to process it as well. And his mom is extremely communicative, and he split custody, him and I, because a lot of people are under the impression that my lady and him and I were family split. So he comes, I know I'm veering into it because you asked about family. So it's split because as well, my ex-wife, she and his mother, they were born in, they knew of this. And then my current lady was aware of it, and she's nothing of this. So I'm grateful and humbled that they are cool with it, first and foremost. Secondly, are not embarrassed by it either, because that's a biggie.
You shouldn't be.
No, but again, it's still new. I'm, you know, because one thing about growing and evolving, because this happened to me in the beginning of it, and I remember my boy Dwayne Cooper, shout out Dwayne Cooper, right? He said to me, because I get angry, right? And you know, first and foremost, as we associate your boys, you're like, come on, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? You know, we should start thinking different, etc. And he said to me, look, I'm glad I see you on your path and you're learning, but you learned it when you needed and you wanted to. You can't force the people to learn it, because if they're going to, just like you, they're going to learn it when they need it and they want it to. I was like, so that's part of humility and having humbleness, non-judgmental, where you can tell that's where you respect a person, whether their emotional intelligence or their conflict resolution, or just a way of processing, or even their own vocabulary. Let's not just insult them, their education, because the average individual has a small education. I don't find myself to be that smart, but yes, I went to high school, went on to college. I resigned from my professional career as a substation operator of high voltage distribution and transmission electricity. It's a big ass long title, but it's, you know, where I have myself learned and acquired. But we have to, you know, that rookie mentality where people be like, oh, you're a rookie.
Right.
Switch it. Oh, you're a rookie. That's what's up. All right, now that you're here, if you're a person and said fill in the blank subject matter, right? Because I've tried to speak in general because we can apply shit to everything. If you're in a career path, or you're in a position, or you're, you know, explaining to your children something, thank you, Reina. I know I am. When you say to yourself, you're a rookie means that they worked to be in that said position. Whether they worked in whatever way, in whatever judgmental filter the other party has, that rookie is there. They're showing up. They're here. They're new. They're looking to be here for the long run. So when the elders or someone that has been there for longest takes them as a threat, I get where it comes from. That's that animal kingdom shit. Can't let that young be better than I am. You know? And you just said right, so you understand.
Right. Sure. I'm up there.
There you go. I feel, just don't kill me, but I'm here to teach you on some Mufasa Simba shit. Like, let's learn realistically. You're going to just be better than I am. This is
Mm.
all for you. The future. We're going to live in the future, but the future has always belonged to the young. So don't insult them. Don't make them feel. That's where that humility comes into play. Don't that. Oh, you're a rookie. Or you don't know better. It's always that. I hate that. It's one of the things that I really hard
Right.
on. Damn, how the fuck did I get here? Please, rub me back.
No, we got into like how it became a family business, and
Correct. I'm
you
accepting
got
that.
into the whole like being the humility, not being embarrassed about it, being around people who made you feel ashamed or
No,
tried to bring you down for it. Yeah, so
no. But
but yeah,
I was always that cousin. You know. Oh, your cousin. By the way, I was always that cousin. I was you. I'm gonna hit you right. I don't know what your ethnic background is, right? Both of my parents are Dominican from the Dominican Republic, and I'm first
okay.
generation, right? Immigrant, born here, Brooklyn, and on at home. By the way, I love it on Cornelia, off of Wyckoff and Cypress. Fuck, I lost my track. Thought
It's
about
all
going
good.
back to that. Come again? Wrote me in.
It's all good. It's all good. No worries. Yeah, we can move on. Um, so all right. What was your okay? What's your approach on like distributing? I would say, like not even distributing. Sorry, let me reword that. What's your approach on like customer service? Like because when I met you, you kind of like gave me a master class in just a short time. Like you wanted me to understand what I was getting into. It wasn't like a dollar sign. So talk about the importance of quality. That's big, especially when you're no. It doesn't matter the business. So what
Correct.
does that mean for you?
Uh, so thank you. By the way, thank you very much for that. I get told a lot that my prices are cheap at times, right?
Mm.
Because of the market, etc. And the way that I say I don't sell anything. I take contributions and donations. Reason being is I want to educate. This is an era of education of cannabis. See, because we've been selling weed for a long time. And I
Yeah.
still know cats that smooth packs. And I'm like, yo, kudos, you still able to do that. That still works. But it's not about selling a product. And this is just true transparency and vulnerability. I'm not even
Mm.
selling myself. I just want to educate. And through the
Right.
education of who I am, I want you to become a better consumer. And if you could become a better consumer, it makes the sale easy. And tell people, not for me, for yourself. So whether you purchase something from me tangibly, please take away this free education. My father used to use this phrase, déjame venderte una idea. Let me just sell you the idea. If I can sell you the idea, then if you feed it and you water it, then together we can make it grow.
Mm. Okay.
You feel me? But I'm not selling you a product. And in this day and era, I've had people come across cannabis, explain it to them. They're like, oh, I'm not about that. I'm like, cool. I'm not about smoking weed. I'm like, good. I'm not about selling weed. I'm about teaching you what the female cannabis plant can do. Let me show you what my healing balm is. Let me show you where it comes from beginning to the end. Vegetative extract, flower form you can consume, edible you can consume, but I don't want you to buy from me. I want you to realize what it's supposed to be and then that shit hit me. It's not my thing. From farm to table, you know that phrase, that agricultural wise? When I heard that shit, I was like, boom, that's amazing. Because for me, that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to teach you from farm to paper, to tincture, to bowl, to what, to a dab, you know? Because let me tell you, I started with rigs, the titanium metal rigs and the porcelain rigs. I'm telling you, people tell you, man, that dude used to get me smacked back in the days off this shit he pull out of torch. I told you that extract shit. The best extract I ever did was from a black water. And I started a kitchen fire.
What is Blackwater?
It was a flower that my boy had grown limited. Limited. Let me tell you, it was the first time, and that's when it bit me. It was the first, and I knew who grew it, but it was crazy. I think I paid 1,500 for that QP, right?
Mm.
It was the first time that I extracted something that the shit was just lemonade, yellow. It was clear. I was just mind blown that I forced the purge and started a kitchen fire. Luckily, I had at the time, I told you, high voltage distribution. That was my profession. I had my FR on because started a small kitchen fire. Whole nine, everything. Partial cabinets. But it was so worth it, but I was never able to try it. That was my unicorn, by the way. That was my unicorn extraction. I literally looked at it
That's
and
tough.
wanted to clean it off. Couldn't.
That's tough. I like that, man. That's dope. That's dope.
Crazy.
I don't think I've ever started a kitchen fire since I've been doing this, but I have messed up a few batches. Um,
That
yeah,
hurts, right?
it's been times. I think one time I burnt the weed so bad, the flower. I was so mad, man, because
Mm.
that was like my last. I was like my last of my last. I had just bought like a HP, and that was like the last of the. I think I had like maybe three
Mm.
of those left, and I was using that to make like a huge batch of something,
So
and I was
you
so,
know the hurt.
huh?
You know the hurt. Exactly. That was I'm
Oh yeah,
listening.
yeah, 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 yeah. I was frustrated, man. Like it was bad because it was like I had to make this order in like 2 days, and I was so tired because I was like always outside every day working, on the beach. I was be on the beach every single day, pulling my cooler, making treats every night, you know what I'm saying? Like just refilling every single day. And I was just working myself out. And on this particular day, I ended up falling asleep. And I woke up and it was in crumbs. I was so mad.
Whoa.
It's little black crumbs,
Fun.
man. But
What was
um,
the name? What was the name
uh, what you mean?
of the flower? You remember?
I don't actually at the time. This is about a
Mm.
year and a half ago.
Yeah, Black Water. That's my unicorn that got away, man. Black Water was my black unicorn that got away. You seen the black unicorn from the movie Shazam?
Yeah,
I don't know if you have kids.
I
I
saw the
love
movie.
that black
Yeah, I
unicorn.
saw the movie.
Yeah, yeah. That
No,
was my black unicorn that got away. Fucking Skittles.
that's all right. So we got a few minutes left in the interview. Do
So
you
if
have
you,
anything that you want to leave with the world? Anything that you want to share with anybody? Any piece of
yeah,
information regarding your craft, your knowledge, your purpose? Go for it.
no, and yes. I want to give you your flowers, right? I want to take this moment to reverse it and give you your flowers. Sir, so earlier this year was my own, very own first event that I threw for myself, that it was a harvest that was fucking banging. It was amazing. Nothing went wrong. Bugs were good. If you know, you know. It was just a hit. Everything hit. That
It
shit
was a
was
great event.
amazing. Remember?
It was a great
Double up.
event.
Double up. You're the first person that bought a ticket from me.
Wow, I
You.
didn't know that.
Yeah. I've been waiting to fucking say this to you. And I can't see your face, but you're getting it genuinely. You're the first person. I was at the Underground Collective, if I'm not mistaken. Shout
Underground,
out to them as well.
underground advocates. Yeah.
Advocates. Thank you, sir, for correcting me. Underground Advocates. You came to my table. I had a thing. You scanned it, bought the ticket. I looked at my lady so geeked and I was like, yo, we bought the first. You're never too old. You never, if you don't have that humbleness or humility, you don't deserve the fucking business. Seriously, like, fuck that.
Right.
Purchase not from me. Purchase from someone, a creative. There were other creatives there. Purchase from a creative. Like, you know, now during the holidays, I want to plug that shit in. Purchase from someone, even if it's more expensive, that shit'll make their holiday and make yours if you're going to gift it. Purchase from a creative, because we can get from Amazon, we can get it all that time. But during this time, during these holidays, I don't believe in the whole big gift giving, but purchase from a fucking creative. It will pay our bills. It will make our families happy, and we put love into this shit that we fucking create. You understand? So, and I know I'm cursing about it because I'm fucking passionate and adamant about it right now. Not angry, nor passive aggressive, but we do. Like Erykah Badu says, I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit. But go cop a cookie. Go cop a cookie from Joe's, my homegirl Joe's. Go cop music from my man Reef over here. Go do some work with my nephew Christopher Moronta. He's a producer slash I'm not trying to play nephew engineer and everything else. Like, go to Pinchazo. Go, I'm gonna, you know, anyone, like, buy from them. Go buy something from the people that we know, because we have families, we have bills as well. And if you know us and not only like our products, but are entertained by us, then assist as well. But I wanted to thank you because you fucking did that. Now, circling back, you did that shit, homie. You did that for me. You made me feel like a fucking, you know, you made this old gal feel special that day. And I was like, woo, what? That's what's up. And never forgot that you showed up as well. And it's not taken away from anyone else who purchased from me, because I hope you guys all felt the love, that it was more about giving that day and sharing than collecting.
Right.
And I thank you to the fact where you asked me to be on this, and I'm honored, because I'm just a regular Joe to me, you know. I am my own God, king of my castle, De Los Santos. Plug. Sorry. But at the end of the day, I'm still a humble man, trying to spread love and the word of righteousness, and knowledge of self, and the love for the female plant.
Nah, I appreciate that 100%, man. And I'm glad you said that too, because it's like, I be trying to stress the importance of support. Like, you know, like, for me, it's like, I get it if you can't afford it. Like, if you ain't got it right now, I totally get that. You get what I'm saying? I'm not running into your pockets for nothing, you know. But if I'm promoting something and you take interest in it, and I'm just saying, hey, you know, donations and contributions, you know, because that's literally my game right now. When I do my music right now, my music is up for donation. Like, whatever you want to pay for it, there's no price on it. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately, you know, even going back to that day, like I said, when I walked up to the table, it was just your energy in general. You know, it was a warm welcome. What's up, sir? How you doing? You know, welcome to my table. And from there, you know, I just started asking questions, and you answered every question. And, you know, a lot of people might get annoyed by questions and stuff like that, but, you know, if you have the patience and time to share your knowledge and intellect, you know, like, why am I getting mad? You know, so,
And then in
you know,
a day and age where they can go buy cannabis anywhere,
right.
how dare you? How dare you not try to educate your consumer?
Thank you. You know, and then I was already on that frequency of like learning, like to tap deeper into it. And for me, you was the perfect person. Like, when I walked in and I seen the plants on the table, I said, yep, that's the man right there. So, you know, everything just aligned itself. You know, I feel like I was supposed to be there that day. You know, I was supposed to meet you. You know, everything worked out. And then for you to be throwing your own class on it, I was like, man, I'm all in. All in. So yeah, everything was in alignment, man, and I appreciate that day so much, because, you know, I felt good about it too, you know. So yeah, it was a great
And I
day,
don't,
and your event
and I don't try
was
to beat
smashed.
people in the head. I don't try to beat people in the head on prices either. That one I gotta give it. You know, I'm
Right.
still from a certain way. I'm a humble guy. Bills can be paid, but you know, I charge him 50, 60. even 40 for, you know what I'm talking about, a single contribution of a 3-5. Come on, guys. I get
Right,
it.
right, right.
I get it. But if we're going to be selective and, you know, not be everywhere, then hook the people up. One of my things always is that I get asked, why so cheap? I said, you paid to be here. I paid to be here. So we already spent money. Shouldn't
Right.
we feel like we're getting a hook?
That's a fact. I feel you on that.
And I'm
I
not
feel you.
knocking any event coordinators that get things together. This is between the person that shows up however they showed up. And whether it's they're coming away with something for free of education, or even if it's a sample or a good price, a hookup.
That's a fact. That's a fact, man. Well, we thank you, man, for being such a loving person, a very educating person, enlightening. You're a very special person in this world, man, and you're not afraid to show that. So, you know, the people that know, they know and they appreciate you, you know. So, thank you for coming on the platform again and sharing everything. And it's been a blessing to have you, man, for real.
Yo, king to king, you as well. Your energy, your, you know, and I felt, and then the way you kick it, your words, your music,
Mm.
the way you articulate yourself. So I told you the first thing that reminded me, but then afterwards has been that conversation and the way you articulate yourself. Uh, I'm very, I'm going to use the word. I'm very attracted to that, right? Because that's what I like, communication. So we attract what we should want by leading it by example. You did. So one, appreciate it. Um, I'm fucking giddy. I'm grateful. Again, this is a not to me is an honor, and obviously people do so many things, but when someone wants to kick it with you, wants to speak with you, and you know during these times, oh, let me jump in there, right? Because I like to touch a little bit on mental health, if I may, and it's not
Go,
even to
go
be cliche.
for it. Go for it.
I myself suffer of seasonal depression, right? Like I told you, I go through respiratory, the dry air, so it starts there. So I go through medically, then it goes psychologically, like sun, since I was a child. It's something that I struggle with. I get higher prescriptions of vitamin D from my doctor, get my blood work done. You know, we can figure it out. And it's not to say, oh, boo hoo hoo, but sometimes that shit comes over us, you know, and I'm grateful again, just like the legalization of cannabis. I'm grateful that it's being spoken about because now in the culture, my son is aware of it. My son tells me, you know, how he's feeling and expresses himself better than I was able to as a child. But
Right.
to be aware of that, don't dismiss that shit, because we all have something and we all should check ourselves. And a lot of times people just they dismiss it, but it's real simple, just like growing the plant, right? Really quickly. Something stays in a lively, vegetated green. You guys saw the green plants, like she's just ready, loving, receiving majority of sunlight, good humidity, and flow of air, right?
Right.
Anything will thrive in that. And you know how many hours they sleep? 6 up to maybe 8 hours. And they thrive in that. It's when
Mm.
we deprive the light and we put them in a 12-12 cycle, 12 hours on, 12 hours off, that they begin to prepare themselves for winter. You follow me? They are preparing themselves for winter. How are you preparing yourself for winter, my friend? That's all I'm saying. If nature does it, and keep in mind, I love foliage. So all those trees are going to lose their foliage. They're a reminder as well that they still stand there, but they're struggling, depressed without that green foliage and just branches and twigs. But stay rooted, my friend, during these fucking winter times. That's something I definitely want to fucking enforce. And I hope, and I'm going to say enforce because I just be aware of it. Come January, December, knowledge of self, journal some shit, take a video, you know, thing, and you know, ask yourself, am I different? Oh shit! And then I'm not talking about Christmas and spending bread because then that attributes to it as well. But please be aware of that.
Thank you,
Yes,
man. Appreciate that.
yeah, man. Uh, Shout out to my black and brown brothers as well, man. My lady just reminded me. Brothers showing each other love. Thank you, honey. Yes,
Fact.
man.
Shout out to her. Shout out to her. Brothers showing brothers love. That's a fact.
For sure.
Um,
Oh yeah.
so yeah,
All
man.
right.
This episode will be available on my profile. I will be uploading all current episodes to YouTube by tomorrow. So yeah, I believe the YouTube link is in my bio. If not, I will update that. But yeah, you're welcome to share with anybody anybody you think would love to watch this episode. You can also tune into the previous episodes. And yeah, there's gems in every single episode, man. Like I said, everybody that comes on this platform is special. So stay tuned, man. I got more people coming up as well.
Because we were brought together by a special man.
That's the fact.
You brought us here. You dig? So don't you ever fucking forget that shit. And whenever you having your days and shit, you too touch back on them gems. Because you remind yourself, yeah, I did that shit.
I appreciate that, man. Definitely, for real.
I'm grateful, humbly grateful. Have a wonderful day. It's fucking fly outside. About to go do my thing.
Facts, facts, facts. Word,
All right.
man. You enjoy, man. Thank you.
Peace.
All right, guys. That's it for the episode of Going Live with the MC. Thank you all for tuning in. Next week, we got a special guest, which I will announce on Monday. So stay tuned for that. And we'll see you then. Appreciate it.